it is. It's shocking, obviously, to see the new colors and becomes official and, becomes a real life situation. And just to be, fully transparent, I told my wife 2015 when I was playing for Toronto, I said, I'd love to be the quarterback for the Riders someday. And so this is a dream come true and something that I've always wanted, and you long for. When you come in the league, you invite the high expectations, the pressure, and those sorts of things. So couldn't be more elated to be here. And I'll never take for granted being able to be the quarterback of this franchise. And so I truly look forward to the challenge and the work ahead.
Jay told us yesterday that the decision-making process was pretty quick into the negotiation window. Was it the same situation for you?
Yes. It's something that I wanted to do early in the negotiation window because, one, I'm a person that, I'm a Christian man at heart. My faith is my number one thing, and a lot of times I feel like the Holy Spirit's our gut feeling, our gut instinct, and I wanted to trust that early gut instinct and not second-guess myself. And so early in that window, after talking to, a couple situations and laying things out and praying about it with my wife, it was easy decision. We made the call on Sunday night and let Danny know over in Montreal, and I wanted to be involved in helping recruit guys here because this is not a 3-year project. This is something that we want to come in and we want to hit the ground running and win now.
Trevor, can you just talk about what was going on in Montreal and how big of an impact that played in your decision to leave there?
Yeah, it's tough to speak on past things, obviously, because ultimately they don't matter. But never was I looking to leave early on. Never did I expect to leave. But I've learned one thing in pro sports is you never assume anything. And as this situation kind of unfolded and it got to the point where it was, I promised myself that I would listen to other teams and see what was going on, see what else was out there, and see what opportunities presented itself. And I'm thankful that God ordained the things the way that they did because I couldn't be more elated to be here.
What's it like having Jake Winicky come join you as well?
It's amazing. And, Jake has been a guy, he talked about this early on in the process too. He's like, I would just love to go to Sask. And in the free agency process, I was like, oh, that's great, man. Obviously you want what's best for you. And so when the opportunity presented itself for him and I to be teammates, it was one of the first calls I made. And said, let's go do this, man. And because I feel like Jake is a wide receiver one in this league. And last year was asked in our offense to do things that, weren't route running. And, for him to be in a situation where he can go out there and run routes. And he's one of the best route runners I've been around, one of the smartest receivers I've ever been around. And to watch him be able to work in man coverage, be able to find spots in zones, reminds me a lot of Brad Sinopoli and somebody that I was familiar with really quickly. And I really look forward to watching Jake this year. You really expand, his game and things that he can do and show his strengths.
Trevor, why did you choose Saskatchewan? You said it was a dream come true, but what stood out to you about coming here and playing for the Riders?
So when I talked to Jeremy on the opening day of the negotiation window, we kind of just talked through what his plans were, what his vision was, and just listening to his demeanor and the way that he saw things, and then talking to Coach Craig. As well, listening to the way that he likes to build his culture, the way that he treats the players, and how he sees this locker room, coming together, and how you win football games. I thought that aligned with a lot of my values, and so through that process, I didn't really say too much on the phone with how quickly I wanted to make my decision, but it was just through their leadership and the way that they presented what they feel is important for organizations to win football games, it became very clear to me that this was the place for me to be.
What stood out to you way back when you said you were at Toronto and you thought about playing with Saskatchewan in the future? Why was that decision made?
It was a really surface level thing, but you just feel how important football is here. And as an athlete, you want to be a part of situations where football is important, and things mean a lot to people. And you want to be able to bring joy to people and be able to impact people. And ultimately, this stage for me is about glorifying Jesus Christ. And so that if I can, bring glory to Him and love others and, just bring smiles to their faces through anything that I can do on the football field, impact the community. And I'm a small town guy as well. And so I thought it really fit a lot with me, like a blue collar type of workman's mentality. I just feel like it was a great fit for me. But that was a surface level thing. But as I get closer and closer to it, I realized it was even better fit than I thought.
Did it have anything to do with the fact that you came here that year and won 42-40 and threw a bunch of touchdown passes and saw not only what was going on here firsthand, but had a great experience as well?
I mean, that year the fans weren't as nice to me. They were rude to me, but it was the environment was electric, and that's what you want to see. And I mean, I remember very vividly in 2018, I played for Ottawa. They shut the lights off before they played Bring 'Em Out, and everybody's lights were off. And I don't know if they put their phone lights on or if they had green glow sticks or something. And I mean, I got the chills thinking about it. And I was like, this is it, man. This is awesome. This is the heartland of Canada, and a place that would be really, really cool to have that environment. And, it got me fired up to play that night. And so, all that things coupled, those are just surface level things. The things that are most important to me are building the relationships in the locker room, making sure that, you have alignment from, the president down. And I feel that we do have that. And I feel like it's a first-class organization through and through. Getting a tour of the facilities today, couldn't have been more pleased to get to spend time with Mr. Craig Reynolds, Jeremy, and Coach Craig. And so this has just been a dream come true for my family and I. And we're just elated to be here. And the way that this has just been incredible.
You're a veteran of free agency. I believe it's the third time you signed with a new team in the CFL. Did those prior two experiences when you signed with Ottawa and Edmonton, did those help you out this offseason?
It let me know that change isn't as scary as you get out to be, because a lot of times people go toward comfort. And the one in 2018 was kind of taken out of my hands. It was just a quick deal where they just said they were going to move on. And so it was just a situation where there was a couple opportunities that presented itself. And honestly, to be fully transparent, I almost came here in 2019. And it just didn't end up working out for whatever reason. And then, obviously when I left, Edmonton really wasn't my choice. It was just a situation that was going on that year. And then last year, it was the only team that really was in, just because of, certain times when you're a franchise guy for a while and you're brought in as a backup, it's certain situations where people may not, see that as enticing or think your price tag's too high or whatever it would be. And yeah, so last year, those were all very different, but this year was a situation where I got to make a decision what I felt was best for me. And for that, I'm grateful. And like I said, I'll never take for granted the fact that I get to be the quarterback of this organization, and won't take it for granted for 1 second or 1 day. They're going to get every ounce of effort and energy I have in terms of developing the relationships, getting everybody to pull in the same direction, and we're gonna be winning some football games this year.
You've had any conversations with offensive coordinator Kelly Jeffrey?
Yeah, I've had a couple long conversations with him, and we'll be in touch here shortly, talking some ball, and I'm gonna wear him out.
What's it like to kind of be a little bit reunited with Kelly Jeffrey, because he was supposed to be the quarterbacks coach for 2020 in Edmonton there?
Yeah.
Before that season, was there any conversation?
Yeah, we were part of some Zoom meetings together in that off season, talking through the things that one of my mentors, Scott Milanovich, was going to be the head coach there, and the things that he wanted to do that I felt was going to be ahead of the times in this league. And so being able to kind of talk through some things that we were going to do that year, bouncing ideas off of one another here just in the short term. But I know that we'll get into the weeds of things about the things that he sees and the vision that he sees for this offense.
But Rider fans really want to know, are you going to win football games this year? Maybe get your thoughts about the season ahead and what's it going to take to get wins on the field?
Yeah, I've never been in the business of promising wins. I can promise you that they're going to get a team that's united, that loves one another, that's giving all-out effort, and we're going to have a culture of loving one another, a good brotherhood, and making sure that we're giving everything that we do. But the goal is to make sure that this organization, this province, this fan base is proud of this team on opening day, on Labor Day, and the Banjo Bowl, and most importantly, that third Sunday in November.
Trevor, we both know that Craig and Jeremy are on one-year deals. You signed a multi-year deal. Did that come into your thought process, any of it, coming in a new deal?
No, because I feel like if you trust the process instead of thinking about the end goal, I feel like those things will take care of themselves. And I believe in those guys. I believe in Coach Craig. I believe in Jeremy. I believe in Craig Reynolds. And I think that my vision is that we're here for a long time together, and we can create a lot of great memories here in the prairies and get this fan base rejuvenated. And yeah, I'm excited. I feel like hopefully we get a lot of ticket sales going for these fans, because we want to go out there and put on a show for them, but we don't ever want to lose sight of what the process of that is, because you don't just go out there and just say we want to win football games and it happens. You have to have a process and a system to believe in, and go through it one day at a time, and understand that it's about the aggregate of marginal gains, and it's about who you're becoming in the process and what type of team we're becoming in the process. And all of those things, the common denominator is the process. It's not about any sort of outcome. If you surrender the outcome and just focus on the day-to-day work, that's where the true magic can happen.
You also know the offensive line had some struggles last year. Did you look at and study that, and what do you think maybe they can address, or can you have any input into that? Or
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that go into football in general, and we could probably talk for hours. Maybe we will someday over coffee. There's a lot of things that go into quarterbacks getting hit. Sometimes quarterback can hold on to the ball too long. Sometimes the offensive line has a miscue. Sometimes they get beat. Sometimes the receivers are covered up, and those are called coverage sacks. And so DBs can cover things up, and you got to get through to your fourth read. And sometimes it's tough to hold up now. There's some good defensive linemen in this league, and so it's my job and duty to make sure that I'm getting the ball out of my hands quickly, making quick decisions, being efficient with the football, moving the chains, staying on the field, giving our defense a break so that we can give Lanier and Pete Robertson, those guys, the rest that they need, so they can go out and pin their ears back and get us the ball back, and then we can be leading the league in sacks.
your wife's, how do you spell Kelsey, your wife's name?
Kaylee, Kalie, just like Katie, but with an L.
You have children?
Mm-hmm. I have 2 kids. One's a 6-year-old boy, just turned 6 about 2 weeks ago. I have a 2-year-old that turns 3 March 3rd, and then we've got one on the way. She's about 6 months pregnant now, so she'll be due at the end of May.
What's your son's name?
Oldest one is TJ. His name's Trenton, but Trenton James, and so we call him TJ. And the youngest is Trace.
Trace?
TJ and Trace.
Are you planning to move here with them?
Yes, they're gonna be coming up with me for the season.
There have been many stories told, especially during the free agent period, about how intense your workouts are. And some people have even drawn parallels to the Tom Brady regimen. Is it that crazy, or what can you tell me about your routine?
It's I would say the intensity is different from when I was 23 or 24, but the intention is really what's been the most important thing for me. Is it's changed, in terms of the pre-tissue work, the tissue work during the workouts, the making sure that you're lengthening and softening the muscle tissue after your workouts so that you can stay pliable. A lot of times, I guess the best way to describe it is if you see an 8-year-old kid fall down, they just get up and run and they're fine. But the older you get, you fall down, get up, and even when you stand up from a chair, but it's because your muscles can lose the pliability, and that's something that Tom Brady has kind of really popularized, I guess. And a few years back, I just thought I might as well, spend some resources figuring out what this guy is doing, because he knows something. And I wanted to be able to extend the prime years of my life in terms of playing football, and I just never wanted physical deterioration to be why I stopped playing this game. I always wanted it to be because I didn't want to do it anymore. And so that's really been my vision with that, is just trying to make sure that I can stay in my prime for long enough to where the desire to play the game goes away before my physical deterioration. And it's very meticulous, I would say, and maybe not as intense, but the number, you maybe do 2 or even 3 workouts a day sometimes, but it doesn't necessarily mean like you're grinding yourself to a pulp every workout.
So 45 is your goal?
1 year at a time. You just never know where God has you in His plans and what He has for you. But 1 year at a time. But to be honest with you, I don't see an end in sight. And I think I've said the best. I feel like my best years are directly ahead of me. But if you don't feel that way, what type of athlete are you? If you don't feel like you're getting better, if you're staying neutral or getting worse, how is that enticing for a team to bring you in? Or how can you move the needle? And ultimately, as a quarterback, you want to make sure you're moving the needle for an organization, and for you to do that, you've got to be constantly improving.
Have you had a chance to talk to some of the new signings, Brescison, Bain Jr., and some of the guys who are going to be thrown to the ball?
Yep. I've been in touch with almost. I think there's only been one guy I haven't got a hold of yet, and I plan on messaging him tonight, defensive lineman. But I've tried to reach out to as many guys as I can, but I always try and be intentional with it. I don't want to just say, hey, this is Trevor, lock my number in. I want to make sure that I kind of talk to them and get to know them as best I can. So I'll be calling the guys throughout the next few weeks, because that's the most important thing to me, is make sure we're developing those relationships and knowing that we care about one another.
How
What do you
important is it
think-
as a quarterback, going to a new spot, new weapons, to really start that relationship building early and before training camp?
Yeah, I think you said it. It's I think it's probably the most vital thing and most underrated thing is relationships. Because once you know that somebody cares about you more, they become. That's what family is you care about each other at a high level, and you'll go further and longer with your effort and your intentions and the things that you want to do to help each other succeed because you're family. And so the better relationships you can build, the more you want to do for that person, the more they want to do for you. And I feel like once we continue to build these relationships, that's when we can really get that magic to happen.
What do you think of the situation that you're here and Cody Fajardo's in Montreal? Is that a kind of a CFL moment that we swap quarterbacks?
Yeah, it's like just like a quarterback swap, almost like a trade. I have a high amount of respect for Cody. He's a great human being. He's really, caught the league on fire, in 2019, and it's been awesome watching his career blossom. And couldn't be happier for him that he gets to go to Montreal. It's a great organization with people from Danny Machocha down. Those guys are amazing, and even Mario. The president there, just tremendous people, and they'll take good care of Cody, and I think he's going to do great things there as well. And like I said, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Cody. He's just truly a good man, a man of God as well.